Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Come to you live from our comfy couch here in the Oscars and X Gaming Saloon reviews for February 2nd, 2026, which is Speaker 248 and wrap it up, Salon.
Hi.
We're doing a Sentai again after not doing a full Sentai. It's Go Busters in the old format.
Yep.
I mean, we touched Ninja for like 2 episodes, but that doesn't really count. Yeah, we are doing Kyoryuger, folks. We're gonna do the whole show, presumably. I wouldn't see a reason for us to not do the whole show.
I'm sure there is a reason, but
I don't see this driving us off.
at least so far, no. I mean, let's be real. We know how Sentai shows go. It turns into Red and his fabulous friends by the time it's said and done. That's how that normally goes. I'm going into this knowing that and hoping that it can surprise me and actually, give character growth for the rest of them.
Yeah, because I think you don't keep up with Sentai in any capacity besides whatever I tell you.
Yep.
I decided today, okay, since basically Gokaiger, which was the first Sentai I ever watched live, how many Sentai shows have I actually seen through to completion since then? Bear in mind, Gokaiger came out with double NOs, so that should give you a time frame.
Why do I get the feeling that is extremely less than Rider shows that you've made it all the way through?
Because it's one more than a 50-50 split.
Yeah.
Literally, it's one more than a 50-50 split. And one of them, I made it through most of the show and then quit. The rest of them, I gave like a handful of episodes and then didn't bother because I didn't care. I'm very hot and cold on Sentai, where if you can hook me for 5 episodes, I'm on board for the rest. 98% of the time, as it turns out. But if something in those first 5 episodes does not agree with me, I'm not sticking around for a year. I will merely observe your show from the outside.
I mean, fair.
Not to say that I think the shows I have skipped are bad. I've heard great things about the shows that I have skipped, but I didn't want to spend a year watching the show to find out if they were good or not.
Kind of like me with Gav, how I dropped it even though I didn't feel it was bad. I just didn't care for it.
Yeah, because I think we're in the minority opinion on Gav, because so many other people are like, Gav is so good, and I'm like, it was fine. It was okay.
If people were looking for that breath of fresh air kind of deal, yes, I can agree with them like that. There just wasn't enough there, though.
I look at Better Gav and go, why are you 5 different people, and why do all of you suck? Literally 5 different people took up the identity of Bitter Gav in that show, and there is not a decent thing between the 5 of them that makes that feel worthwhile. But yeah, that's why we're covering Kyoryuger. Also, coincidentally enough, if we were 1 week off, we would be covering this the weekend that Sentai ends. Like, possibly permanently. Because this next Saturday is the final episode of Kyoryuger, which, for the foreseeable future, is the final episode of Super Sentai. As the Project Red Gabon Infinity show starts the week after. I will remind everyone, the wheel decided what we were watching.
Yeah.
And it eliminated one of the 2 Sentai shows on the wheel before we narrowed it down on stream. And Gabon was also on that list too. It also was in the narrowed down patch as well. But it was like, nope, you're doing the one that's ending, not the one that's kind of coming back. But a couple general things real quick. Kyoryuger started February 17th, 2013. This puts it basically mostly during Wizard's tenure into Gaim's tenure, even though Gaim's crossover would have been with Tokyoger for the spring special that we skipped when we were doing Gaim. Apparently that's not in a regular episode count for that show, because I forgot about that until after the fact. It was like, wow, we skipped that 1 hour special. Oh well.
We didn't miss anything.
I mean, we missed like the best joke in that show with Takatora and the Megazord, but that was about it.
We didn't really miss anything.
Our main writer for the series is Riku Sanjo, which is an old favorite of ours from Double and the like. And then our main director is Koichi Sakamoto, again, of multiple things we have liked. So it's a good staff. You can also incredibly tell that this is directed by Sakamoto. Because like half the fights in these first 4 episodes are them unmorphed.
Yeah. Which is a good change kind of deal.
Yeah. Now, I do have to ask you about the opening theme. Do you recognize the start of the opening theme at all?
Not really.
Okay, so I swear that the opening part of this theme is a slightly sped up version of the Jurassic Park theme, like the main part of the Jurassic Park theme.
I mean, it might be. I never really watched Jurassic Park, so.
Fair enough. Okay.
It's one of
All
those.
right.
It would not surprise me.
Like, I can hear it every time I see the opening, and I'm just like, yeah, no, that's the start of the that's like the main part of the Jurassic Park theme, just in there, just slightly sped up, and I think like up a couple notes or so to make it distinctly different, or to make it different, but it's still the same rhythm of it.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all.
But I guess any thoughts on the opening? We generally don't talk about the openings, but I figured I'd at least have us mention it.
I mean, it was an opening. By the time we
Fair.
finish this, it'll either grow on me or I won't care.
I unfortunately was skipping them for time's sake, but I was like, oh yeah, I like the Kyoryuger opening. It's not the song I really like from this show, but I do like the opening.
So you were skipping the opening for time saving. I was skipping the ending for time saving.
Well, I was skipping the ending as well for time saving because I was like, oh shit, a Sentai dance. We haven't had one of those in years. Skip, skip, skip. Actually, I was just closing the file I had and just opening up the next episode because I was like, yeah, the only thing after that is like the episode preview for the next episode. And I don't need that if I'm watching the next episode.
Yeah.
Granted, I also didn't bother with it for episode 4.
It's funny. I don't really bother with the episode previews when we're doing shows like this. Yet, for Zets, I have intentionally waited for the preview every time.
Preview 1 or preview 2?
Yes.
I don't know why Zets technically has 2 previews.
The world may never know.
Because for folks, at the end of every Zets episode, we get the little eye catch with the capsiums. Then we get these like quick fire shots of what the next episode is, and then the mission title basically again. But then we get a regular episode preview that basically expands upon those quick shots and is like, oh, here, tune in next week. And it's like, what? Why is there 2 of these?
Probably so they can cut one out as commercial kind of deal. That's the only thing that I can think of.
I'm trying to think if there would be a commercial right there for Zets. Because, like, the weird thing for Japan, since I have watched Zyuden Sentai live, there's only like 2 commercial breaks, basically. There's the commercial break after the opening, and then there's the commercial break halfway through the episode.
No, I'm meaning for like literally being able to just cut that to throw it into like an advertisement block kind of deal.
Oh yeah, true.
Because it seems like they would be spaced out enough to where they could technically do it as 2 separate commercials if they wanted to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those probably are. Although I think the commercials one are slightly different. I'm not sure. I don't think I've ever seen a commercial version of the episode preview.
Yeah, I don't think I have either, but there's no telling.
I have seen a commercial version of an episode preview for Kyoryuger, but because of the nonsense going on with Kyoryuger is the only reason why. So, yeah. But yeah, anywho, I guess any other thoughts going in the Kyoryuger?
No.
All right, then we will kick things off with episode 1. He's here, the Bright Red King. So we get introduced to our bad guys. They are the Daboth army. They killed the dinosaurs. They are here to kill humanity because they got unfrozen from their Antarctic prison. Chaos, our statually liberty-looking guy, is the one in charge and is basically just telling everybody what to do for these 4 episodes, basically. Their minions go around the world causing chaos and stuff. And this is when we meet our red Daigo Kiryu, or as everyone ends up calling him, King, just because. And does it feel like they did it better here than in Geo with someone being a king, basically?
I mean, the simple fact that you had to say that statement there and not question why you were fixing to say it says a lot.
Yeah, because I'm just like, the only reason people call Daigo King is because they just do. There's no particular reason for it. And even he's just like, hey, you can call me king if you want. People just end up calling me that, and I just go with it. And then just everyone seems to just fall into it because they're like, oh, hey, he seems cool and like knows what he's talking about. I'll vibe with that. Man has so much more charisma and pull than Sogo could ever dream of having.
Yeah.
Anyway, he attacks the minions and stuff until Torin, our bird friend, arrives. Along with summoning Gabatira, who's the mech for Red, and basically goes, hey, you want to fight these guys? Fight Gabatira, and if he thinks you're cool, you get to be a Kyoryuger. And we get shots of the current Kyoryugers as well. We'll be meeting them basically over the next 4 episodes. We then fast forward a month as King and Gabatira fight. King eventually beats Gabatira, but doesn't get the right to be a Kyoryuger. But Daigo's like, that's fine. He ends up following Torrens to Japan, gets dropped outside of a restaurant where we suspiciously meet color-coded individuals to our Kyoryugers, and they totally have nothing to do with the people we met earlier. Nope, these aren't the Kyoryugers at all whatsoever.
I mean, we totally aren't continuing the trend of the Rangers outside of Sud are gonna all be color coded too.
Yeah, because we have Nosan, who's in blue, and he's a handyman. We have Ami, and she's technically not in pink in this scene, but she primarily wears pink. We have Ian in black, and then we have oh god, I can't remember Green's name. Why am I blanking on him? But he's in green. Yeah, eventually King Daigo ends up finding the Kyoryuger's base at this restaurant because they just have a floor mat that lets you teleport in if you have the gun. I guess the portal is set up in the floor of this place. Since there is a floor mat he transports to later to get to the fight. I guess they just have these scattered around the city. But Torin tells them about the Kyoryugers before Dayball's army attacks. Daigo goes to fight them. Even though he can't transform. Him and Gabatira go for a bit. He eventually is just like, oh, Gabatira doesn't want to recognize me because he doesn't want to get me to get hurt like all his friends did. Because I guess just to spoil it a little bit, there's only like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like 11 of the 21 or so Kyoryuger mechs still standing. The rest of them got murked. That's where the rest of the beast batteries come from. They're from all the dead ones. So we used to have a lot more of these of the mechs before they all got murdered back then. But this gets Daigo his transformation, so he gets to fight with Gabatira. And then basically what follows is just a whole bunch of fighting, and then the rest of the Kyoryugers show up and more fighting. And Daigo introduces himself to the 4 Kyoryugers who are like, all right, cool, bye. Because basically this is a side job for everyone at the moment. Kind of. They're not really a team. They just show up to handle monsters and then leave. And that's basically episode 1, which takes us to episode 2, Gabarichu Biting Combination. We catch up with Daigo, with a girl named Rika building a T-Rex statue at a museum. Rika is No-san's niece. And this is where we also meet Amy, who's a rich girl and has a butler. Some other attack. Daigo goes in the fight. Black and Green arrive to show do some support. This is also where we get the armed on stuff, which is their personal weapon stuff. I kind of like that it does change the arm a bit. Gives them a little extra armor on top of their personal weapon. Monsters end up blowing up the statue and then running off. Daigo ends up meeting Pink and Blue properly this time, but Blue's still mad at him because he's like, how, because he's mad that his niece got in trouble or was in danger, because as we find out later in the episode, she was in danger sometime before. He tried to save her as Blue, but then his sister showed up, thought he was the reason she was in danger, and then basically blames him. Well, blames Blue, but she doesn't know it's him. And that is your drama for the two of them, basically for the rest of the show. Spoilers. That will be the thing for the rest of, between the two of them for the rest of the show until it gets revealed. Next day, Daigo helps restore the statue. We get the backstory for No-san. Amy ends up showing that she can fight to her butler just to be like, hey, I can handle myself in a fight. You don't need to baby me on this. No-san also steps in and literally lifts up this giant wooden statue and just bonks the monster with it. I will say this now, No-san is one of my favorite characters in the show just because he's an ever-ending pun machine and everyone no-sells him at every turn, which is part of the fun. And B, the man does every sort of wrestling move he can do with associated pun. I love him. But yeah, 3 of them transform, fight the monster. They end up taking it out. But Igron, one of the generals, that shows up to try to stop him, but it doesn't work. But this is when we find out, one of the other ones can make it grow big, and therefore we get the mech fight. And our first look at Kyoryuger. How do you feel about Kyoryuger? And it's 2.5 forms we get over the course of these 4 episodes. Oh, hello? Oh, Tommy, you there? Hello? Hello? Oh, Tom fell asleep on me. Oh no. Hello? Tommy? Well, guess I'll finish recapping this second episode. So yeah, we get Kyoryuger, blows up the monster. Next day, Gabatira stands in for the statue for the exhibit. But Soji, that's his name. Soji and Ian are still on board as a team. That gets us halfway through. I'm reminded of why I like this show, because these first 2 episodes are really fun, and all 4 kind of stand as a nice little mini arc of here's the forming of the team, even though 4 of our 5 have been Rangers for a while. So I appreciate that is a nice little like opening 4 episodes. Trying to do something in the background. Couldn't do it just yet. I guess I'll recap the second half. Hopefully Tom will be way awake by the time I'm done. Episode 3.
My bad.
Oh.
I was like, crap.
I was going to ask you what you thought of Kyoryuger and its 2.5 forms.
A little puzzled on why we got the half form.
Why it's all arm swaps, basically.
Yeah.
I figured you ask why the gun sword one is Western theme. It's supposedly Western theme.
I half get why that one is.
I'm just gonna raise up. It's a Rising Zan Samurai Gunman reference, and you can't prove me wrong.
Yeah.
That is a pull like 5 people will understand. But yeah, any thoughts on the first 2 episodes?
I kind of, which is more of a thing I had with all 4 of these. Sometimes not just immediately solving the problem would be nice.
It'd been nice if we drew this out in 2 episodes instead of just done in 1.
Yeah.
And it'd be nice if the monster didn't get revived after we did them because, hey, we killed the monster. And the tension, we've reached the climax. Oh, wait, we gotta kill him again.
I honestly don't mind that because, as you pointed out before, the mech fights really aren't long and drawn out this time around.
They are basically race to the finish.
Normally that would aggravate me, but this time it doesn't bother me as bad.
Yeah.
It's the whole, we have conflict, King does something that's really kind of very minor, but that completely makes the problem do a 180.
Yep. He basically
it's that whiplash moment, and I'm like, huh?
He basically points out a thing, and the other character goes, oh, that is the solution to my problem. Okay, cool. I will do the solution to my problem.
It's that whole whiplash right there that you get just by trying to be like, okay, I see where we're going. Oh, what?
The downside of this being 4 episodes instead of 8, basically.
Yeah.
But any other thoughts before the second half?
No.
All right, episode 3. It's going to get wild. The Slashing Brave. Daigo's helping out at the restaurant part-time because apparently he knows how to cook for a restaurant and they needed a cook for a day. I just wave it off because I'm like, this man's been around the world a few times. He's probably picked up some things. Like, he can cook, but this is probably like the one of like 3 things he can cook.
I could see that, actually.
This is the Soji episode as we find out that him and his dad have a martial arts lineage, basically, and his dad doesn't appreciate his reverse grip style. Because that's just how he fights. He fights reverse grip, and his dad doesn't quite like that. And Green's like, whatever, I'm doing my things my own way. And so basically the whole episode is a monster fight, captures a bunch of martial arts people to make them mad, and eventually captures like his dad and Daigo in order to show, oh, hey, now your kid's incorporating your style as well, because he also does your fancy like full moon circle finisher as well. And it has more power because it actually blows up the monster's trap thing instead of just deflecting it. So basically, Green saves the day. They blow up the monster, and then they have to blow it up in the 2-sword kind of form for Kyoryuger, because technically Blue's shield can become a sword. We won't see it, I think, for a few episodes, but it can do that. Also, at the end of the episode, Ian takes one of Kentaro Spiker's batteries, which takes us episode 4. Shoot through the Gabu Revolver of Courage. It's the Ian focus episode. We find out that he was a treasure hunter. Him and a friend were doing stuff in Europe when the monster for this week's episode killed his friend because he couldn't shoot him in time. And he feels bad about it, and it makes him hesitate when the monster shows up and almost killed Staigo. And then Taigo like talks him through it. They end up blowing up the monster after going, oh, we used Kentaro Spiker with our personal weapons, not in the gun. Like the rest of the batteries we have, including the one that makes the motorcycles, because I skipped over the motorcycle. Because they just randomly introduced their motorcycle in episode 3, and there's like, hey, we have motorcycles that are 2 raptors in one. But Ian finds the resolve to take the shot, hits the monster. They blow him up with Kentaro Spiker, and then blow him up again with Kyoryuger Western. But we find out that the monster, I guess, that technically killed Ian's friend was the General Igaron, because that was his cloak. And he also still has the amber jewel that he stole from back then from the 2 of them. And that's episode 4. How you feel about the back end?
Honestly, about the same as the front part.
Fair. It is a little bit more. But also, like, this could have used like 2 episodes to expand this out a little bit. Because, like, as you can tell, you can basically sum up the episode in like just a few sentences.
Yeah, because the getting from A to B really just happens in like one scene.
Yep. We introduce the conflict, we intermission the conflict, we resolve the conflict, and then we blow up the monster. But yeah, that's our first 4 episodes. Any other thoughts?
No.
All right, then in 2-ish weeks, since it will be on Sunday instead of Monday, we'll be back with more Kyoryuger. Maybe the next 4 episodes will pick up.
Maybe.
It's Sentai. Look, a lot of Sentai shows, especially at this current point, are front load story, ton of one-off character stuff, one-off episodes and character stuff, back end plot. So right now we're in the front-ended plot stuff. We'll probably get about 2 weeks worth of that some more, and then it's But between now and then, Thursday, going to do some more retro achievements. I'm not sure what retro achievement thing I will do specifically, but it will be something. Friday, we are back to Tales from the Cube. About said the wrong one. With P&O 3. Saturday, we start co-op multi-world madness.
Yeah.
6 randomizers. 1 life across it all. Can we not fuck this up like 12 times?
Yeah. Or something's gonna go sideways. Repeatedly.
Mm-hmm. I have a feeling Fire Emblem is going to account for more than I would like to admit.
It'll be Wind Waker for me. Unless Mario vs. Donkey Kong surprises me.
So yeah, that will be on the not just this Saturday, but subsequent Saturdays until it drives us insane. I think we only have it planned for like a month, right?
2 months.
Oh, okay, 2 months. We have 2 months to do this.
Now, granted, I'm not going to say that it might not come back and or continue an extra month, but yeah, 2 months.
But yeah, that'll be Saturday. And then next Sunday will be TGS. We get to maybe talk about a partner direct that might be this week. Supposedly. There's also supposedly a proper direct some point after that, but it won't be this week, apparently. So yeah, that'll be the stream, the stuff between now and then. So if you like what you're seeing, drop a follow. Really appreciate it. Exclamation point YouTube and chat is the YouTube archive for this and all our other streams. I have to double check stuff because I think I might have offset the schedule a little bit that I had set up because I forgot to leave a spot for the streams for tomorrow.
Whoops.
I thought I had it set, and then I looked today at the 6 o'clock posting and noticed it was missing half, and I went, I have it offset wrong, don't I? Checks. Yeah, I do. Fuck. So there might be an open slot tomorrow, and I'm like, well, I don't have anything to fill in it at the moment, so it'll just happen, and we're okay with it. But yeah, that's the YouTube at the moment. Exclamation point social chat gets you the handles for our social media so we know we get live. Exclamation point Discord chat. It's Discord link. Drop by, say hi. See you Thursday, folks.